We, the people, have let America down, but not just America, but the whole world. We, the people, is Christ followers. We have been manipulated for years, a little bit at a time, a little bit here, a little bit there. If you was wanting to take over a large corporation, how would you do it? Best way to do it is from the inside out, because if you try it from the outside, you're not going to knock that wall down to get in. Well, this is what has been happening to America, but not just America, but all over the world. About every country there is has been manipulated. A little bit here, a little bit there. Who's in charge? Yeah. But who allowed it? We, the people. We have changed our lifestyle, our comfortness. Instead of really researching, and I say this in about all my videos, we need to research the truth. There is so much to research, but now you have to be careful on where you research. Because some of these companies, especially the new dictionary, I'm trying not to say names, they have the words, the verbiage in there of definitions that really makes a lot of the evilness going on look good and truthful. Well, way back hundreds of years ago, you figured a lot of people had their own trading companies. They, would trade, feathers for eggs, or shoe your horse for meat, or whatever. And sometimes there was gold involved, or silver, money, as we use nowadays. But the money that we use nowadays is corrupt. Do some research on that. But now they were offered more glamorous ways of doing things. And back then, they didn't do a whole lot of research. They just trusted, because a lot of it was trust. And they were manipulated, and now we are where we are, to where we depend upon, the government to do everything for us. And it shouldn't be that way. This is why it is so messed up all over the world, not just in the U.S., but all over the world. I remember a time my son was on a missionary trip, and he came back, and he said as soon as he stepped foot off that plane back in America, he can just feel the evilness. I've been thinking about that the whole time. I mean, this has been years ago, and I still think of that comment that he made. And researching here and there, and listening to this, and watching this, and I was caught up in the same thing. I was lost in this, because it just seems normal, but it's not. And they come out with these different flavor cigars that people smoke, and they think, oh, it's okay. This, God made that. It's all right. Anything that manipulates your brain a little bit, or a lot, is not good. Oh, the new wine. Actually, you're saying wine or alcohol. The new wine was grape juice directly off the vines. That's new wine. That's wine. That's what they used back in the days when they didn't have sodas and all this other stuff that we have nowadays. And all they had was water and wine. So if the water was polluted, then you would drink the wine, which the grape juice, 100% grape juice. Now, yes, they did start fermenting some of that stuff back then and making it stronger, and it would, give you a little buzz. I mean, you would have to drink a gallon of that to a sip of what we have nowadays to get the same, the same buzz. But what we need to focus on is how manipulated are we being, and are we catching on what's really happening? Are we listening to God is the main thing, because he's been trying to get our attention for a long time. And I'd like to say weather changes, which I know part of that is, but part of the weather changes is man-made, which people don't realize this. Even the jet waves have been changed at certain times in order to change the weather. They have huge ships out in the ocean, I mean way out in the ocean, with these gigantic fans on them. Yeah, you think I'm kidding. But they focus these up in the air, turn them puppies on, and it will literally change the jet stream. But we're not going to get into that right now. We need to start focusing on, what does God want us to be doing? Why did we allow it to get to this far? Why? Okay, a lot of farmers are told, don't plant no crop in this much land that you have, and we'll give you this much money for not doing it. What is the purpose of that? Well, the farmers go for it because they don't have to do anything for that piece of land. They just let it grow. It's a certain type of grass of some sort. And they get paid for not doing nothing with it. That's kind of like a welfare system, but not just that, but why are they paying you to do nothing? What is their agenda? What is their purpose? Not what they told you their purpose was, but what is the true purpose? And why would we want to be paid to do nothing? There's a catch. And it's been going on for so long that we just like, well, yeah, man, I can get paid and not do anything with that piece of land. I just plant that grass and stuff on there and let her grow. Let the wild live in it. Well, letting the wild live in it's fine. But there again, you're getting paid to do nothing. That's like some of these people that don't want to work. I'm not saying the ones that can't work and are looking for jobs. I'm talking about the ones that can work and don't want to look for a job. They don't want to create an income for themselves to take care of themselves and their family. They want the government to pay them to do nothing. Why? Why have people gotten so lazy? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because it's what their agenda is. To get us lazy, and not just lazy in working, but lazy in thinking, so we don't catch on to what they're doing. We lost freedom a long time ago. And if we're not careful and start changing things how God would want it to be, changing things on how America was founded, we'll never gain that freedom back. Well, right now you may think it's freedom, but it's not. They're taxing us to the point that we don't have much to live on. By the time they take taxes out of your income, which is against the law, by the time they tax you for buying a product, by the time they tax you for the place that you're living at if you own, by the time they tax you for your vehicle that you're driving if you have one, and the tags that you have on it, and by the time they tax you for the money you have left in the bank, some of them already do, some of them are working on it. They would also like to know how much money you put in the bank, how much money you take out, and where it's going. There's been for several years a couple banks, you take money out of your account, your account, but they think it's their account. They'll ask you, well, where are you spending that at? What are you buying with it? It really isn't none of their business because it's yours. Why is all this happening? And what are we going to do about it? These people are so powerful now that the average guy like me is like, there's no way these guys are throwing me in prison and leave me there to rot. And they wouldn't even care. Or even worse. Where do you think a lot of these human trafficking people are going? Those people have them. They're in charge of them. Where do you think some of these realistic movies showing graphic images, and it used to be that those were like camera effects, different lightings, different angles of the cameras, and then you pause it, throw in a bunch of makeup with gory blood and all that gunk. And for the most part, that's still being done. But some of those are real people actually going through whatever they're portraying that image to be on film. And they're made up to where you can't recognize who they were or are. It's sad. People's lives are ruined because of that. And those are the people who are actually controlling the rest of us, unless we break away from them and go back to how it was back in the 1700s. I'm not saying you have to go back and live that way. But our beliefs, our trust, our way of life needs to go back to where we left it. Now we can take all this modern stuff that we have nowadays and implement it into our lives. It's not a problem. But being controlled and not really having that freedom that we should have, true freedom, we need to break away from that. A lot of churches, a lot of pastors have fallen into this trap, and some of them don't even know it. And it's a shame. I've seen it many times. Actually, even lately, I've been to so many churches, and it's really sad to see how far we have walked away from Christ, but yet believing that we're doing the right thing and living for Christ when we're really not. We are in this trap. We are brainwashed through the movies and the media, and yes, even the newscasts. A lot of them are caught up into this, and some of them are paid so much they're not allowed to say the truth. They're just allowed to say whatever they're told to say. And if they go against that, then a lot of them will disappear. And why is that? There's been a lot of movie stars that's done the same. They want to break away from that. But because they have this group has a hold so tight that they're told that if they break away, they'll either lose their life or their livelihood, or both. They will be manipulated out in public. They will be downcasted and bashed so much that people will begin to hate them. Michael Jackson was very popular. Michael Jackson grew up so fast he didn't really have a childhood. So he was into having the carnival type stuff in his backyard so he can go out there, and he'd like to share it with other kids and be a part of that. Well, when he realized that what he was doing as far as the type of music he was putting out, the actions he was doing, was all for the glam and glory for that group of people, that he decided he wanted no part of that. That was not the right way to go in life, even though it made him popular. But because he would mention that he wanted to break away from that, well, then they started saying that he was manipulating kids, he was fondling them, he was abusing them, and he wasn't. But a lot of these kids and parents of these kids were being paid to say certain things and then walk away. That made Michael Jackson look like trash. But he wasn't. Listen to the last song that he ever made, that he's breaking away. And they killed him. But that last song gives you that message of what direction he wanted to head. But they killed him. And there's several other actors the same way. And they were told they committed suicide. They were told they drowned, or like being shot accidentally. These are stories that people need to open up and realize what really is going on there. Because if we keep our focus on media for our answers, then you're being brainwashed to believe their agenda and not the truth. We need to open up. We need to communicate and come together. And we need to overcome these group of people that has been controlling not just the U.S. but the world. COVID-19 is not a virus. It's not. It's a man-made bioweapon. Even has patents on it. And if you look it up in the right areas, you'll see it has patents on it. It doesn't spread like a virus. Not saying people don't get it. They do. Not saying it's not dangerous. It is. But the fear that they've been implanting in the people that it's a virus, it's spreading. And that's why we have to wear masks. These masks doesn't do any good. It doesn't spread that way. But implanting that fear in people gives them more control. So not only are they like the cameras and stuff that you see in the intersections, they can read your tag numbers on your vehicles when you're driving by, but they also, you notice when you're driving underneath the light at the intersection, that camera's facing down at you, not the back of your car. Now they do have some on the other side so they can get your tag when you're going by. But why do they have the ones facing you? That is so they can get a facial recognition. And then certain times of the year, people wear scarves over their face or they have hats on. And so they put the fear in us with this bioweapon that they have, saying it's a virus, saying that we catch it, but spread through our breath. Wear a mask. Now, they can still read your tag as you're going underneath that light. They can put those pictures in a file that they have. It's all computerized. And now you're wearing a mask, especially these crazy people wearing masks while they're driving in their own vehicles and nobody else is in there with them. Facial recognition. Now it's your eye recognition. That way, if you don't go with the plan that they have for you, and you're trying to hide, somebody 100 yards down the road has his fancy camera set up and they can take pictures or what have you, and you got your face covered up. All they can see is your eyes. Well, now they can put that picture in the computer, go through all the files so quick, match them up. They know who you are. And they know everything about you. Yes, we can do something about it. Yes, we can. First, you got to turn off the media. You got to stop being fed that garbage. You got to walk away from the movies. That's a hard thing to do sometimes because there's certain movies that we really like to watch. It's easy for me. I'm not a big TV or movie person, Ask my kids. I don't mind a movie once in a while. So don't get me wrong on that, but I'm just not a big fan of it. I mean, people talk about these movie stars like, okay, I don't know who they are. Yeah, they're famous, whatever, yeah, they're famous. But we gotta watch that. We gotta walk away from it. There's some Christian companies out there making their own movies. Seek into those. Got to stop reading some of these books because you're a big part of it. These group of people are so smart. They built these mega businesses. They use that money to manipulate people. And now we're kind of trapped. But that doesn't mean that we're going to get caught in it to where we can't get out. Seek the way out. Walk away from a lot of that media stuff. Turn off the news. Even your football games, you notice they're always throwing out this stuff, and a lot of it has nothing to do with the play that they're doing on the field or in the court. But they're feeding us this garbage all the time anymore. And it's worse now than what it used to be. I mean, it's bad. And as hard as it may be, we got to walk away from that stuff. And we got to get our minds cleared. Pray to our Heavenly Father. Guidance, knowledge, truth. And go seek the truth. That's pretty much what we need to be doing. And we should have been doing a long time ago. But it's not too late. It's close. It's really close. So we got to step up now. And be careful with what you say and how you say it. They are so good at what they do. They can get you to say certain things, and you're thinking it's okay, and they got you. It's scary, but you can do it. You can do it. Step up, step out, seek the truth, and be careful where you seek it. God bless.